Hello and welcome to the Restricted Area Podcast, where today we discuss WNBA action as the regular season dwindles down, and we give you our list of our top 5 NBA point guards as we enter the season. As a reminder, if you want to hear the audio version of this podcast, you can find that on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or what's the other one?
Amazon.
Amazon. There we go. It was in my notes here somewhere. Um, and you could find that there a day before it hits YouTube. To get you started, I'm your host, Alex Perez, joined by producer Colton Smith and co-host Ben Miller. How we doing, fellas?
Doing good, doing good. I was just at college game day, Lee Corso's last game. Absolutely,
Legend.
absolute legend, and just a lifetime experience that I'm glad I got to experience that as my first college game day. Really fun. Got there at 3:30 in the morning. Not sure how many times. I went to bed at like 10:30. Set an alarm for 11:30, but I actually set it in the morning. So then my cousin wakes me up at like 12:30 and is like, I thought you were waking up at 11:30. I was like, oh shoot. But we got there at 3:30. Actually ended up getting some free parking because they didn't have it like blocked off yet. And then stood in line for a couple hours, stood for a couple more hours, but it was totally worth it. Lee Corso, thank you, Lee. Thanks for all you've done, not only for college football but for sports entertainment as a whole.
Yeah, for sure. Absolute legend. And sounds like you had a great time, Colton. But for myself, been pretty good. Just been grinding out at work. Had to go in on Saturday. But afterwards, got to enjoy some college football. Ohio State got the dub. Kentucky got the dub. Overall good weekend.
I was also very excited that college football was back. That's definitely the highlight of the weekend. It was nice not to have to work today, so shout out Labor Day. But watching Kentucky football, don't know if I would say that was a highlight of my weekend because it was ugly. But this is a basketball podcast, so let's talk some basketball, fellas. We'll get in here to our WNBA action. Before we do that, let's take a look at the standings where Minnesota's first, Las Vegas is second, Atlanta's third, Phoenix is fourth, New York is fifth, Golden State is sixth, Seattle seventh, Indiana's eighth, and that final spot in the playoffs for right now, LA is ninth. And if you're wondering about the race for the number one pick, Washington is 10th, Connecticut's 11th, Chicago is 12th, and Dallas is 13th. So, with all that being said, what storylines have stuck out from this week? Ben, we'll go to you first.
Yeah, so I'm looking at the New York Liberty versus the Phoenix Mercury, with Phoenix winning 80-63, and some takeaways from this game. Starting off with Phoenix, they were dominant. They had a dominant second half performance, starting with a 15-1 run, outscoring the Liberty 43-24. Great offensive attack. 6 players scored in double figures. They were great in the front court as Natasha Max secured 7 offensive rebounds, and with this win, the Phoenix Mercury, they're definitely hot right now. They won their 4th consecutive game and 6th in the last 7. So they're definitely a team to keep an eye on as we get closer to the playoffs and of course at the end of the regular season. And just looking at New York, though, Breanna Stewart expressed her opinion, saying the team's performance is not a championship level. They had turnovers. They had poor defense. They had 19 turnovers, which they turned into 26 points for Phoenix. They gave up too many easy buckets during the Mercury's second half run. Injuries continue to be a problem for this New York squad as their star player Sabrina Ionescu was out with a toe injury. The offense went cold in the fourth quarter, missing 5 consecutive field goals and could not make a comeback. And my second storyline this week, I'm going to the Seattle Storm against the Minnesota Lynx, with Seattle winning 93-79 over Minnesota. And some takeaways, starting off with Seattle. The second half comeback, they trailed 46-33 at halftime, outscored Minnesota 34-17 in the third quarter. and outscored them 26-16 in the fourth. And 3-point shooting was a big factor as Minnesota dominated beyond the arc in the first half, going 7 for 12, and the Storm were unstoppable in the second, going 11 for 19 from 3 point range. Defense stepped up in the second half. They forced 14 turnovers and converted them into a 26-13 advantage off turnovers. And just looking at Minnesota, they looked strong in the second quarter, building a 21-point lead. Offense went cold in the second half. Defense couldn't contain Seattle's offense. They were outscored by 27 points in the second half. Courtney Williams had 16 points and 10 assists, but unfortunately, she only had 2 in the second half. They were held to 33 points in the second half and struggled to create offense. Emotions ran high between Coach Cheryl Reeves and Collier as they got into a heated argument. But yeah, I mean, I would say maybe the worst game of the year by the Minnesota Lynx. But yeah, overall, those are my takeaways from this week.
Colton, what you got?
I got one takeaway. Oh, I'm muted. I muted myself. I muted myself to type something in. Can you all hear me now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So I got one takeaway. It's sweet and simple. It's the hottest team in the WNBA, hottest team in basketball right now. It's the Las Vegas Aces, and I've been reusing this one for a while, but it's simple as that. They're just so hot. They're 13 wins in a row right now, or I had it written down. Where did that go? 12 wins right now. They look to make it 13 against the Lynx. Ben was just talking about them. They've slipped a couple games there in Minnesota, but they're also well ahead of the standings. Me and Alex were talking about this before. They could look to rest their players, but if you ask me, I see the Sky twice and the Sparks once to end the season. Let's play one more game against the Aces this Thursday, get a little playoff atmosphere going, get these teams ready. But as for the Aces, Asia Wilson in the month of August finished with 25 points per game, 25.6 to be exact, 11.2 rebounds, shooting 50% from beyond. I looked at the wrong stat split. Hold on, 47% from the field. The other two were right, but 47% from three-point range. So still, regardless, extremely hot month for not only the Aces, but Asia Wilson, who I had a lot of high words about to start the year. Didn't necessarily look like they were going to pan out, but turn it around month of August and going into September, they look to make a playoff push. They are second in the standings now. They beat the Dream, who was their competition there in second. And so long as they can win out the rest of the season here, they got a pretty good chance of staying in that second spot.
Yeah, the Aces did drop a couple games in Minnesota this season, but I feel like you could say that about everybody. So can't really hold that against them too much. For me, I did want to build off of what Ben was saying and just talk about the Liberty. Started off the season great, sitting at fifth now. 7-7 in the month of August. Sabrina and Stewie obviously are a big part of the reason why New York are struggling right now. They've been in and out of the lineup with injury. And even if you're only in for 1 or 2 games and then out for 2 or 3 more, the rhythm and the consistency are just not going to be there. And it's just going to mess with everything, including the backups and the reserves who are trying to figure out how to play well when they're not in the lineup. And not only am I concerned about the health, but I'm also, on the other end, concerned for the 4 seed. Um, New York's probably almost certainly guaranteed that fifth spot. If they're healthy, congratulations. You get to play a team with a healthy Natasha Cloud, Stewie, Sabrina, Jonquel Jones, and they're bringing Emma Mieseman off the bench. She was acquired like halfway through the season. She's a former Finals MVP. I think that's a pretty strong team that they're putting together there. If they're healthy, which it hasn't looked great the second half of the season, that is a terrible matchup for whoever gets fourth. It's looking like it's going to be Phoenix right now, the way things are playing out. That'll be a great series if so, but that stinks that they have to play New York in that first round. And then just building off that, my second storyline is the playoffs. This is the most pivotal week for the playoffs and playoff standings. 2 to 4 are separated by a half a game. And then 6 to 8 are also separated by a half a game. So this is going to be a very interesting week of basketball as standings kind of get smoothed out now. But looking at what matchups could possibly be, we could have a combination of Las Vegas, Atlanta, Phoenix, playing a combination of New York, Indiana, Seattle, or Golden State. That's an incredible amount of possibilities, an incredible uh, amount of matchups we could have. And obviously, if you're looking at these teams, you're going to want to play Indiana or Golden State right now, especially if Caitlin Clark can't come back. Golden State is down Kayla Thornton for the rest of the season. So if you get one of those two matchups, that'd be ideal. But we'll see how this last week shakes out. If you don't get one of those two matchups, you get New York or Seattle, who I think they're going to be very strong in the playoffs. We will
Mm-hmm.
see, but it's going to be a fun week here. So I'm very excited for these playoffs and this last week.
Yeah, yeah. You mentioned the first round matchups, but my eyes are already looking at the beyond the first round
Mm-hmm.
there. Lynx. Who are they going to face? Is it going to be the healthy Liberty team and what the second round? What are the Who would have thought that at the start of the year?
Mm-hmm.
Could be the sneaky dream team. I mean, I didn't think about that dream team. But the Mercury, I think, can absolutely give the Liberty a fight with what we've seen throughout the season. It's really a matter of what team shows up to the playoffs. But yeah, the Lynx have been the toughest team all year, but they could really have a tough second round matchup based on that 4-5 game.
For
Yeah,
sure.
yeah. I mean, yeah, it's definitely going to be interesting to see how these playoffs play out because I can definitely see a lot of great matchups coming in the futures. But yeah, we'll just see how this week goes for sure. It's definitely going to be a fun one.
And we got to keep our eye on LA to see if they can sneak into that last spot. As an Indiana fan, it's looking like Indiana may have that last spot. So now I'm hoping not. I was originally hoping so when Indiana was kind of firmly in that 5 or 6 spot. They have played themselves out of it. So uh, LA, if you could give us a break for a couple of games, that'd be great.
Mhm.
But looking ahead, we're going to skip Foul or Flop for this week to give us more time for our top 5 NBA point guards heading into the season. So as always, we'll start at 5 and each make our picks for that and go in descending order. Colton, you want to go first with who you have at 5?
All right. Once again, I have a list of honorable mentions here. Uh, Tyrese Halliburton. I could have gotten into a heated argument if he wasn't injured next year because I probably would have had him much higher than anyone else on this list and would have had him on this list. Could have even been controversial. I'll be nice. He's not playing at all next year, so he's not going to make the list. Kyrie Irving is also questionable of when he will come back. Kyrie Irving before his injury is probably at number 5 here. That's just kind of a testament to the top 4 for me, but would absolutely be on this top 5 if not for the injury questions. Trae Young is a player that I think if the winning was there, I would have probably put him more so in the conversation for this top 5. And I just want to give a shout out to James Harden because he had a really good year at point guard last year. Not top 5, sniffing really, but good. Then, after I got that out of the way, Cade Cunningham is my number 5 point guard. Maybe a little presumptuous, but I like betting on the future, and I have a feeling this year he will solidify himself in this spot. He finally took that next level jump we had been waiting from him, from the former number 1 overall pick last season. Brought along that success to his team, something that Trae Young has really yet to do other than 1 year. Career highs across the board: 26 points per game, 9 assists per game, 6.1 rebounds. Got some votes for the MVP and made the All NBA third team. He brought the Pistons back to the playoffs for the first time since 2019. Got him wins for the first time in God knows how long. Sky is the limit with this team, especially considering how weak the East is. They could really be in contention for a top 3 seed, if you ask me. I have to go through and really deep dive, but I'm pretty confident they could at least be in that conversation. with how weak the East is.
In the
Kate
East, yeah.
Cunningham, that's my number 5.
Ben, who
Yeah,
you
I like
got?
that. All right, so I know he's not going to see the floor next season in the NBA, but I have. Oh, just got to find it here. Sorry, guys. I got Tyrese Halliburton at number 5. I mean, it's unfortunate though with him not playing next year because of his Achilles injury, but I feel like in a way he is a top 5. He is a top 5 point guard in the NBA, though. I mean, he has the ability. He has great playmaking ability. He has great passing vision. He has a low turnover rate. Has the ability to create for his teammates. Consistently leads the NBA in assists. He makes the team a lot better. He has great leadership with the Pacers, and the last couple of years they made some deep runs in the playoffs. And for all the people who say he's overrated, I think you're mistaken. This guy is the most underrated point guard in the NBA today, in my opinion. So he is definitely not. He is definitely not overrated. He is one of the most underrated, in my opinion, and he is always fun to watch. Always puts on a show, and yeah, I got Tyrese Halliburton at number 5.
If I'm being honest, I had him at number 3.
Oh, really?
Not
There
mad
you
at
go.
it.
Coming from the Pacers, man.
It's complete bias. That's why I just left him out to stop the anger. But if the world wants to know, I had him at number 3. Sorry. Fight me.
I was definitely curious about that, so thank you. For me, I have been. This might go just like last week. We had a lot of similar ideas. I also have Tyrese Halliburton at number 5. Don't care if he's not playing any. I still think there's a possibility he play. It will if if Indiana is in true like playoff contention still, which I think with the team that they have, they still possibly could, especially in the East. But I feel like he could make a comeback at the end of the season, maybe, and just because of that, he deserves to be on this list.
Don't do that. Don't get me old.
Um, but somebody who had a 2025 playoff generational run, uh, had a game-winning shot in all 4 series, uh, Olympic gold medalist in 2024, was on a heater in the finals, Game 7, until uh, had a 35 point, 12 rebound, 15 assists, 0 turnover, triple double in the playoffs. I mean, you can't speak to it enough. It was an insane run. He led the 2024 season in assists, and not to mention he's a 2-time All Star, and he took the Pacers to their first final since 2000. Uh, Tyrese Halliburton, another reason the Sacramento Kings know nothing about what to do with organizational basketball.
What
Yeah.
was the
Congratulations
stat
to the
I brought up
Pacers.
on here? What
Uh,
was the stat? It was like they have 3
3
all-star
All
point
Stars.
guards,
Yeah.
all NBA or something. Yeah. Have drafted him, but they currently don't have any of them.
None of them. Great work
Man,
by them. Colton, who
man.
you got a number 4?
Sorry, I'm still recovering from when you reminded me of Game 7.
That was tough.
Number 4, I flopped back and forth on my number 3 and number 4. It was really came down to who I think, who had the most history, based on history. If you're asking me who the better player is, I think Jalen Brunson is the number 3. However, he's still got to prove that a little bit this season. Jalen Brunson is my number 4 point guard. He's one of the most unguardable players in the league, not just from beyond the arc, but also from anywhere on the floor. This guy can find his spot, back into it, get up into, whatever move he's got in his bag. He's all NBA second team 2 years in the running, clutch player of the year last year. And he's just a winner. I think Jalen Brunson, one thing I've always respected about him, he's just a winner that raises the level of his team around him. I wish we would have had podcasts back when he joined the Knicks, because I was beating down the door saying this dude is going to be worth the money. Sorry, Lee, didn't mean to knock you over there. No, we don't talk about you, Ellie. You're on you get blocked out. All right, whatever. Anyways, we'll fix that in a second. But yeah, no, Brunson is just a winner. And I just respect the hell out of him, even though we did beat him last year and the year before, if my memory serves. So regardless, got nothing but love and respect for Jalen Brunson. And like I said, I think he's number 3 based on today, but there's somebody who's got a little more history than him right above him.
All right. Just like you, Colton, coming in at number 4, I got Jalen Brunson. I mean, I mean, just something about him though, with his just elite shot making from all three levels. He's a versatile scorer. He has great physicality. He can get to the free throw line. He's a clutch player. Hits high pressure shots. Shows up in big moments. I mean, we saw it in the playoffs last year, or earlier this year, excuse me, against the Pistons. And I like his ability to show up in those big moments when needed. So yeah, Jalen Brunson. He's done amazing things with the Knicks. I mean, obviously one of the most underrated point guards in my opinion, and he's definitely top five worthy for sure. And yeah, he's a great player to watch.
All right, listen, viewers. We did not sit down and make this list together. Um, we just know ball. Uh, I also have Jalen Brunson at number four.
Oh boy, I think I know where this is going.
Two-time All-Star, won first ever Clutch Player of the Year award. Led Knicks to their first Eastern Conference Finals in 25 years. A storied franchise, so beloved in New York, obviously. Uh, can score with the best of them despite the size. Averaged 24 the last three seasons and 26 plus, and 26 and 7 assists last season alone. He hasn't shot under 35% from three in his 7 year career, and he's never shot worse than 47% overall. So you talk about scores, that is an efficient score. Not to mention his ability to get to the free throw line pretty much whenever he wants to. I know we may call some of these players foul merchants and things, but it's a skill, it's an art, and if you're getting the calls, can't hate it too much. 6 plus assists the last three seasons, so he's a floor general. It's not just about his scoring as well.
Mm-hmm.
And just looking at this and his career, I'm just questioning how Dallas keeps lucking out on getting elite point guard after elite point guard after elite point guard. But that may be a conversation for a different day since he's in New York. But Dallas, congratulations to whoever you're paying off for these point guards.
Yeah, yeah.
Colton, who you got at
Um,
number three?
Unsurprisingly, after all that trying to get Lee up, Ellie De La Cruz doesn't really like sharing the spotlight. I don't know if you watch him play baseball. He doesn't really like sharing the spotlight too much, especially in the infield. So apparently, he didn't like Lee Corso blocking up a shot. So I took him out of the shot. He doesn't get it today. At number three, though, back to basketball. It's Steph Curry. Not much needs to be said here. I see I see Ben's hands go up. 36 years young, still the best shooter in the NBA. His scoring has taken a notable dip, but I don't think that's necessarily his level of play getting worse. I think it's the team around him getting worse, and that meaning just put more triple team him, quadruple team him, whatever. You don't have to worry about anybody else getting their shots in. So I think that's kind of that. Maybe a little bit of age showing, but regardless, I still think he's the best shooter in the NBA. I think he's the most lethal offensive scoring wise in the NBA. But I really think Brunson is right there with him. I think Brunson's versatility is in the mid range and inside is honestly on par, if not a little better than Curry. I might get some flack for that, but I think that's just more of a current thing. Obviously, you go back into Curry's prime, then it's a different story. But um, I'll give Curry the what's it called, seniority vote here in third place. But I think it might be 3A, 3B for me.
All right, all right. I mean, coming in at number three, just like you Colton, I do have Stephen Curry. I mean, the greatest 3 point shooter in NBA history. He has great ball handling. He handles the ball really well. Has great off the ball movement. He has the ability to create his own shot. Has the ability to shoot from deep. Shows up in big moments from deep. I mean, overall though, just a great 3 point shooter and the greatest 3 point shooter of all time in my opinion. But yeah, I mean, just looking at his accomplishments, he's a 4 time NBA champion, 11 time All Star, and yeah, he's just yeah, what a great player to watch. I mean, definitely shows up in big moments, and so yeah, I got the greatest 3 point shooter of all time in the NBA, Steph Curry, at number three.
All right, well, it's a good thing we don't have all the same answers this time. I know this one was probably going to shock you all, but I actually have Luka Doncic at number three. took everything in me not to put him number one, as the obvious bias I have. Yeah. Anyways, uh, five-time All Star, five-time All MVP, 2024 Western Conference MVP, multiple-time Euro League MVP and champion. Um, just a fantastic player. The second most points per game in playoff history. Only thing holding him back for me is his conditioning. Obviously, he's never looked like the top guy in that category, and he doesn't care about defense. And I feel like the guy who, not the guy number two, but the guy who's topping my list does care about defense, or Luca probably would have been number one here. So that's why he's number three, but still obviously very excited about the future in Los Angeles with Luka Doncic running the show.
Yeah.
Colton, you got number two.
Luka Doncic only played 50 games last season, so he wasn't eligible for any awards. But in just 7 seasons, he has 5 All-Stars, 5 All-NBA first-team selections, a scoring championship in which he scored 34 points per game, and a finals appearance with the team, with a good team around him, but still had quite the path to get there in the first place. So I think I see your point with the lack of conditioning, the lack of defense, but I don't know who you have at number two, but for me, I had Curry at number three, and I put him above there because I just feel like he impacts the game on a lot more ways. I don't think Curry's a guy who has been overly, obviously conditioning has been top in the league, but in terms of defense, I don't think he's ever really been really anything above average. He's played defense in some spots, but regardless, I think the just overpowering offensive stats, not just from scoring, but his playmaking ability and his clutchness. I think clutchness is something that really does need to be talked about a lot because Luka Doncic most certainly has that in this case. A lot of clutch shots over the years. So, especially when it comes to a point guard, I think that's one of the key things because that's who a lot of times you have with the ball in their hands late in the game and their ability to hit that shot. I mean, Brunson, Curry, Luka, you can probably imagine having number one. They all have that trait in there. So, yeah, give me Luka Doncic. He's only 26, by the way. All those accolades I listed off, only 26 years old, which honestly could be the same thing could be said about all the accolades my number one has taken. But still, it's going to be interesting because I could see I'll talk about it later. I'll wait till I reveal my number one to talk about it. But like the debate that's going to go on at this number one point guard position is going to be a very interesting debate over the next couple of years.
Ben, who you got?
All right. Coming in at number two, I do have Luka Doncic. Known for, obviously one of the most underrated point guards since he got into the league. He's known for having great court vision, has the ability to find his teammates and create for them. He's an elite scorer. He can score at the rim. He can shoot from mid-range. He can shoot beyond the arc. Has the ability to create his own shot. Impressive durability to control the game. And, he also dominates against top defenders at any speed. And, with Luka Doncic with the Los Angeles Lakers, it'll be interesting to see what he can do with his second year in Los Angeles. But he's definitely one of the most fun and one of the most underrated point guards in the NBA that we have today. So I got Luka Doncic at number two.
I understand. I feel like 3 and 2 are pretty much a toss up. For me, 2 is Steph Curry. The greatest shooter that will ever live. A player who revolutionized the game forever. I don't know what scoring looks like at this point in the NBA, if not for Steph Curry and shooting from 40 feet away whenever he crossed half court. A 4-time champion and 2-time MVP, including the first ever unanimous one. I may be just looking too much into the past and into his peak in these rankings, but he is number 2 for me. He's been a steals leader, 2-time scoring champion, and Olympic gold medalist. Talk about clutch. He was definitely clutch in that Olympic gold medal game. One of the most exciting basketball games I've ever watched. So Steph Curry, I think it's more leaning towards the championships and the MVPs he's been able to put together. He did have some health concerns at the beginning of his career, but his conditioning has never been called into question, and I feel like that's just why he's a little bit higher on my list. If there's somebody who's getting his exercise on the court, it's Steph Curry. So he's number 2 for me. Colton, who you got at number 1?
I have who everyone has at number one, Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. Some say the best player in the league, and I can't argue against that. There's arguments to be had, but I'm not going to argue against that right now. Last season, he got his illustrious MVP, his third straight All NBA first team selection. He got Defensive Player of the Year votes for the second year in a row.
Mhm.
A scoring title. Oh yeah, he won the NBA Finals, in which he earned Finals MVP. Sorry, every time I say NBA Finals, my mind just flashes back to that night
Mm-hmm.
and the amount of
Yeah.
drinks. Anyways, no debate to be had here. He is the best point guard in the league. But what I was kind of alluding to is we know Luke. I know as a fact Luka can get, or at least has had the level and can get to the level to where him and Shea are going back and forth for MVP. Of course, Jokic in there too, but I really think we're going to see a lot of heated, a lot of entertaining, and really interesting debates to be had about point guard, who the best point guard in the league is. And I definitely see the conversation of what does it mean to be a point guard coming up in that, because Shea is a good facilitator. I would say Luke is probably a better facilitator, at least a better passer. And a lot of people will say, "Oh, well, Luke is the more pure point guard," but he isn't really, because he's taller, more unconventional point guard. But in the sense of being a good passing point guard, I'd say Luka probably wins that battle. So. I don't know, just something I thought about when I was making this list is that this is going to be a really interesting. Is it Shea, who's just the pure, really great scorer, also a good facilitator? I'm not trying to say he's not a good passer. I'm just saying Luka, in my opinion, is better by a pretty good amount. Um, and is it Shea the scorer, or is it going to be Luka the passer that ends up getting it? And not to mention they'll probably end up facing off in the playoffs a time or two over the next decade. So the future of the NBA is just so very interesting, and we had a very very entertaining run last year. But I think this year will be right up there with it. The more I get prepared for the season, looking into stuff.
Absolutely. So coming in at my number 1, guys, I also have Shea Gilgeous-Alexander. I mean, my opinion, the best point guard in the NBA today. He has elite scoring ability. I mean, one of the best scorers in the NBA today. He can score from anywhere. I mean, from mid range, he can get to the rim. He has the ability to shoot the three. He's also a great defender, known for having quick hands, leading to a high number in steals and blocks. Has the ability to use his body and draw fouls, and he can get to the free throw line. He has great playmaking ability, has the ability to create for his teammates. He's coming off a dominant 2024-25 season, winning Finals MVP and winning MVP, led the league in scoring, and led the Thunder to the NBA title this season. But I feel like in the future he's going to continue to be the best point guard. With the impact he's made, the Thunder, they're going to be back. They're definitely going to be back for more playoff runs and more finals runs. And just coming from a Kentucky fan, he is the best point guard that we have. He's the best NBA cat in the NBA today.
Yeah, I completely agree. SGA is also my top guy. 2025 MVP, Finals MVP, and champion the scoring title just to boot. And he's only the 4th player ever to be able to do all that in the same season. 3-time All MVP, 3-time All Star, the smoothest player in the NBA. I think he's given Kyrie competition in that. I thought it was Kyrie for the longest, honestly. But anyway, somewhere Logan Hatfield's smiling as we're saying all this. But would have more FIBA success if he didn't have to play Team Freedom every time the Olympics came around. Has averaged 30 plus for 3 straight seasons, and he has averaged 5 rebounds and 6 assists in all but his first year in the NBA. So he is a very good stat stuffer for a point guard. Somebody who doesn't have the size like Luka Doncic. Uh, the worst overall percentage he's ever shot was 45. He had 50% plus, 50% or better in 3 of his 7 seasons. So there's not anybody doing more than SGA is right now.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I understand Charles' point more about Luca being number 2 because I don't see Steph making any more runs at MVP. So I guess that is a more fair argument, and Luca definitely will be making those runs. So yeah, doesn't matter who's in 3 and 2. What matters is who's is in first, and might be for a while. It's SGA for me.
Absolutely.
And now that we have that done, we will move on to our WNBA pick'em, where we pick our winners for the biggest games of the week. Uh, as the playoff picture hangs in the balance, the first game I have for you all is the New York Liberty at Golden State. That'll be 10 p.m. on Tuesday on WNBA League Pass. Ben, who you got?
I'm going to go with the Liberty in this one. I mean, I know they're dealing with a number of injuries to their players. I mean, with Sabrina Ionescu, I mean, who knows? Um, can she toughen it out and play? Play? Excuse me. Can she toughen it out and play? But I feel like, in a way, New York Liberty, they're going to pull it out.
Golden.
I muted my mic again. I just switched my headphones because my other ones died. Did you say the Liberty and the Storm or the Liberty and the
The
Valkyries?
Valkyries, Golden State.
Okay, Valkyries. Okay. I'm gonna go with the Valkyrie here. They're the Valkyries, but for some reason I want to say Valkyrie. Um, so for some reason I'm just leaning that direction. I feel like they're hungry, trying to keep their spot in the playoff, whereas the Liberty are pretty injured, getting back healthy more and more. But yeah, let me give me Golden State to get the upset here.
That's a good point. I think New York will just be happy to get into the playoffs and then be their best self once they get there. But
Mhm.
for me, I do have the Liberty. I think Brianna Stewart's going to be looking to get back into her regular great form as she's coming back from injury. She's been back for 3 games now and looking great. But a front court of her, Jonquel Jones, and as I mentioned earlier, the former Finals MVP Emma Mieseman, it's just unfair to have to guard. And Golden State doesn't really have that much to guard them down there besides Timmy Fagbinley, who's great, but she's only one woman and there's 3 of them. So it'll be tough for them. So I got New York in this one. And then the second one I have is those LA Sparks hanging around in ninth place as they go to Atlanta Friday at 7:30 on Ion. Colton, who you got in this one?
I got the Dream. I know it's kind of the opposite of the direction I went with the Valkyrie because the Dream are pretty safe. I mean, I think they're pretty much confirmed in there and to be in the playoffs. So that's a team that maybe will look to take some rest. That might be a team that's just not as hungry. And the Sparks are literally fighting for a playoff spot here. But as long as the Dream start all their starters, I think they'll be able to hold off the Sparks here.
Ben?
Yeah, yeah, 100% agree. I got the Atlanta Dream in this one. I mean, as long as they have their starters on the court, I feel like they're going to be fine. Though I feel like they're going to win this game close, because I can definitely see Los Angeles. They're going to go into that game and they're going to fight for their playoff hopes. And but yeah, I got the Atlanta Dream in a close one.
Um, I'm going to go with the Sparks here. As long as they're not taking it from the Fever, I want them to get that final spot. So I'm cheering for them. And I also don't want to see the Fever get demolished by the Lynx either. So give me the Sparks here. I think they're, as we talked about, going to be hungry to try to get that playoff spot. We'll see how the standings are by the time this game comes around. But give me the Sparks in this one. And now it's time for our Shooting Stars segment where we pick our baller of the week. Mine this week, I'll go ahead and give that. Mine is Thanasis Antetokounmpo, who got a 1-year, 2.9 million guaranteed deal with the Bucks. He's living the dream, guys. He gets paid millions to watch his brother uh, while you wave a towel and make a couple clips when you get in a 40-point game. No expectations, kind of like a team that employs Doc Rivers and the other one, who I love so much.
Mr. Ham, is it Christmas time?
Yeah. So for me, it's the Nassus this week. Ben, who you got?
He's a life winner. Let's be honest.
Yeah, so for the second week in a row, gentlemen, my shooting star of the week is Aja Wilson. I mean, she put up 34 points, went 13 for 21 on the floor, went 2 for 3 from behind the arc, and 9 rebounds versus the Atlanta Dream. I mean, continues to be a dominant scorer as long as Las Vegas is continuing the momentum. They're going to do some good things, and yeah, they're coming in hot right now. But yeah, I got Aja Wilson. She is my shooting star of the week.
Aja Wilson was also my shooting star of the week. I guess I went too easy on that one. I'll give a shout out to Jewel Lloyd as well. That's another player. She'll be my baller of the week that has turned a corner here and has been a large part of the success. I remember talking about it last week. Hasn't started a game this month, but has been a huge impact with her bench scoring up to 11.8 points per game this month. So yeah, Jewel Lloyd, that's my baller of the week. But Aja Wilson, that's the baller of the month for sure.
Mm-hmm. Definitely.
Yeah. She just continues to break records, usually her own records. So it's impressive. And she continues to do it in the parameters that the previous seasons had. I know this one's extended. We're now working a 45-game season instead of a 40-game season, but she's still getting those records in that 40 games. There's still 5 games left. She's going to continue to put up ridiculous career numbers and milestones again and again. So yeah, good pick. But if we got nothing else, that will do it for this episode of the Restricted Area Podcast. Thanks to Ben and Colton for being on the show. Subscribe to the all-new Restricted Area YouTube at CX Restricted. Follow the Norris Benchwarmers YouTube for exclusive interviews. And follow the CX crew on all socials at CX Pod Network. Follow me on Twitter at The Wheel Deal and Colton at Colt_45. That's 3 T's, by the way. And Ben, let the people know where they can tell you.
Yeah, you can find me on Twitter at Ben Miller PXP.
And that will do it for this week. Shout out Lee Corso and his fantastic career.
Yep.
Good to see him on
Legend.
the show. Can't believe we got such an iconic guest for this show. But you all, until next time, as always, be smooth.